All right, we have looked at what exactly the user interface of ArcGIS looks like. Now let us briefly look at the following things, like how to connect the folder and how to add data. So let us work with how to connect folder. And before that, I also explained to you basic things about menu bar and toolbars, like how to add and remove toolbars. Yes, now let's look at folder connection. I'll check this one and I'll go to okay, ArcMapper. Right. About folder connection. So ArcGIS is a software that's running on your computer, and you have data on your local disk C or D. And unless you do not connect the data folder with the system, it's not going to read the data. So it's very important that before doing anything else, specifically before adding your data, you need to connect your system with data. Connection of data is just a one-time process. When you have connected your data to your system, you do not need to connect it again and again every time you open up ArcMapper. So I'll go to catalog for now, and like I said, catalog is used for management of database. Data are here in the catalog. Catalog will try to retrieve and manage whenever we need the data. How to connect the folder, and before that, how to see the data that we have in our catalog. So the data that we have in our catalog should be under one of these data. So if you're using toolbox data here, data servers looks at those data which we get from internet, database connections and all. These are all based on internet. We have even home database, that's default database or default folder that has been created with the installation of ArcGIS. The main data that we need to, data folder that we need to connect, that has all our data to be used, vector and raster data, has to be connected through system, and it will be under the folder connection. So to bring under folder connection, right now we do not have anything else. That's why we do not have plus sign over here. So to bring under folder connection, we need to connect the folder. So towards the upper side, we'll just navigate to a folder which has plus sign. So this icon is for connection of folders. So it will connect the folder of our interest. So I'll just click once, and I'll go to that folder where I have data. So I have in my PC, I have in my local disk G, then I have under lectures, under GIS, and this is the data. So you need to collect the broad or umbrella folder of where your data has. For example, if you connect the data folder that I have here, then you will basically see the underlying data. If you go inside, for example, if you click on climate, then basically you're not going to see all the data. You're basically going to see just climate data. If you're similarly, if you're clicking one underneath the data, let's say lane cover, if you connect the lane cover, lane use, then basically you can only see lane cover 2016 as it's a folder as the data. But for us, we need to use all the data. That's why we need to connect the umbrella folder, the overall folder data, for us to see everything else. So connect the overall data, click OK, and that's it. This is the data file path, and I can see that it's under remote sensing folder, and the data has come here. And to check that a plus sign has come, and if I maximize this one, if I show the data under the data folder, then all the folders have come here. That's it with the connection of folder. All right. Next is adding data. So there are three ways to add data in GIS. I'll show you. First way is to go to catalog and go to, for example, under national data, we have got lots of data. All of these are data labs. Basically, those data we can use and bring it to ArcMap. So first method to add data is just open your ArcMap and go to catalog and go to one of the data. For example, we are going to use national data. Just click, do not leave your left click, hold and leave it here. I'm doing it once again. Go to catalog, go to one of the data, click, drag and leave. So I have two things that I have brought over here. That's first way to add data from catalog catalog of the ArcMap. Second way is to add from the file. Go to file, then you go to add data icon over here. Then again, since I have connected my folder, I just went on my catalog under national data. That's why it's automatically bringing me to the national data. So if I have to go one level, I can go from here, or if I want to find another data, I can find it from here, because this drop down basically looks like the one that we have in our catalog of ArcMap over here. We had home, we had folder connection. Under the catalog, we had toolbox, database, servers and all. So it basically looks like that one. So like I said, you just need to connect your folder once, then the folder gets connected with the system. And adding data is just different ways to go on. So I'll just go to national data, then I click once, and if I have to add more data, I can press a control on the keyboard and I can just click like this, and I can add all the data once again. So second way is to go to add data under the file, then go to directly the data. If you cannot find your data, if you have to go one level up of the folder, then I go like this. If I have to go to protected area and biological corridor, then I can go like this inside. So this is the wheel. I'll go to national data and click button or add button. That same thing. Once again, file, add data again, button, add. That's it. I have two button map over here. The third way is to go to standard toolbar. This is called standard toolbar. Go to standard toolbar and go to this plus add icon, and it's basically the same way that we just went through file. It is just that we have to go to file, extra thing there, and we have it here, and we just need to click button, add, and that's it with the adding of data. All right, the next thing is docking of tools. So we'll look at how to dock catalog and search toolbar, search tools. Certain times we use few tools quite oftenly. For example, the catalog and search, if you can see towards the right side of the ArcMap or the data frame, it's attached. So a technical term for attachment towards the right corner is called as, or to any corner, is called as docking, D-O-C-K-I-N-G, docking. And how to dock that? For example, let's see, I'll just close this one, and there's nothing towards the right side. So if I want to dock catalog window over there, just go to standard toolbar, click catalog, and the only thing that you need to do is to click this auto hide pin. Just click once, and this gets hidden. Secondly, click this one, and it gets hidden. And if you want to remove it, this cross is here, close is here. So basically, pinning is all about docking, and the search is being docked and catalog is being docked. Sometimes if it is staying out like this, if the catalog windows are, or any kind of window, it's staying out like this. For these ones, you basically have to click on the blue line here, double click it, and it goes to the right corner, or yes, by default it goes to right corner, then auto hide it. that's it with talking of search tool and catalog. Next one we are going to look at is working with data models. Specifically, let us firstly in this session look at adding of vector. First one that would like to deal with under addition of vector file is know your data. So let us know our vector data, and the first thing that you need to know is the file format. The file format for vector data is .shp. The file format for Word document file is .doc mostly, and the file document for raster data, which should be dealt in next session, is .tif or sometimes .tiff, tagged image file format, and .shp stands for basically a shape file. Now let us look at addition of vector file. So we know how to add vector files mostly. Now let us go to catalog, and adding data on the data frame is at your handler, through which means you want to add first catalog, or secondly through file, or thirdly through standard toolbar add button. That's on you. So I do not want to restrict yourself to go through that this way or that way. For me, I basically prefer adding data through catalog. So I go through catalog and I go to national data, and at this time it's mainly for looking at what vector data is all about. These data that you can see over here, which are ending with .shp file format, are called as vector data, and these are basically shape files. Let us just add Bhutan, and Bhutan is already added, so let us just remove. Let me add Bhutan, and let me see the source of this one. And to see the source or to see the properties of this one, you can right click it and go to properties, or you can double click it. It's the same thing. I go to the layer properties, I look at the general, I look at the source, and I see its coordinate reference systems and all. Do not get confused right now, we will be dealing with this one later. And these are the things that it's showing. Labels and all, join time, HTML pop-up. So these are the things that this layer is being made up of. Let us add one more Dzongkhag shapefile. So Dzongkhag shapefile is being added. I'll just remove this one. Dzongkhag shapefile is added here, and you can do basically two things immediately after addition of layer. Firstly, if you want to change name, you can change it by slightly clicking it again and writing anything if you want to change. Remember, if you are changing over here, it's just changing on the ArcMap that you're working currently. It is not going to change on the data that you're using. So it's not going to make any permanent changes on the data. So it's fine if you want to change on the table of contents. It's totally fine. Second thing that you can do is you can immediately label your layers, and I right click it and label features the emotional, and all the labels are coming. Now you would be wondering from where these labels came automatically. So these are based on the attributes that this layer is based on. Remember, in one of our previous sessions or lectures, we talked something on spatial data, where attribute is one of the main thing that you need to have in the spatial data. Let us look at the attribute of the district. I'll go to attribute table, right click and go to attribute table, and this a layer called Dzongkhag layer is basically made of these all attributes. It has information as shape, Dzongkhag name, area square kilometers, total population, Sukartu, even with total area and all. So because of all this information together, you are getting one layer called a Dzongkhag layer. And remember that we just labeled our layer with all the Dzongkhag names, so it's labeling with one of the columns. It's not that we can just label with the names, but you can also label with uh, area or total population, and not just single, but we can also label double name bungtang area like that, and total population like that. We can also label with 2 to 3 more names, so based on our query. For now, it is just having a single label. So just know that label came from the attribute over here. All right. Another thing that you can also do is you can also edit its colors, and basically what I'm saying is you can also edit the symbols. So to edit symbols, any vector file or raster file, you should be going below the symbol of the layer. So this is the name of the layer, and this is the symbol. Okay, just click it once. If you want to do an immediate change, you can have it from here. If you want to have hollow, click it hollow. Change your outline width if you want to change, decrease, increase, change your color of your boundary if you want to do that, and click it OK. Now it's hollow. If you want to have color, you can do it. You can also change your colors from here. If you want to do it red, you can also do that red and with the this is one thing, and this is just having a single color again. We can also have categories of different colors. For this one, we can go to a field called symbology under the layer properties. Go to layer properties and go to symbology here, because we are dealing with symbols. The reason why it's having just one blue color is because it's under the single symbol here. Now we can have different categories of symbols. The Dzongkhag name, which are 20 in numbers, can have 20 different categories. And to add these ones, all categories, just click add all the values, and all the values came up here. And basically we just have to click apply if you do not want to close this one, but just see the changes, then click apply. But if you want to close this one, then click it OK. That's the difference. I'm saying again, if you are using apply, then to apply the temporary changes, you can do that by not closing this one. For example, I'll be using this color, apply, just to see whether your changes are good or not. Or black and white, yes, like this. So just to see changes immediately, look at the apply and click it OK. That's with playing up with the colors. You can also do this for similarly for other kinds of vector file. So in the previous lecture, I was saying that there are 3 kinds of vector file. First one is point. Point is basically XY data. Second one is line or polyline. Basically, lots of XY data joining together to form a huge or a very chain of XY, so forming a line. Let us add point data if you have for Dzongkhag headquarter. So let's add Dzongkhag headquarter, so it's giving some information, so just close it right now for now. Then let's add a line, polyline data or line data, BT roads. So Dzongkhag is a point, just XY, so you can just see point here. BT roads is just a line, just mini XY data coming together, and district is basically polygon. If we have lines joining, it's starting and ending, forming a loop and joining together, then it forms basically polygon. First and foremost thing, the arrangement. We need to have on the top Dzongkhag point, then line and district. Because if you keep district towards the top, you cannot see Dzongkhag and roads. It's because polygon is covering up. It's not hollow right now. So to see that, you can keep these 3 in order. The best order is to keep point on the top, line towards the second, and third is polygon. That's first thing. Now second thing is that like the symbols and names that we are trying to write in the polygon, we can also do that in points and line. Just click the icon or the point symbols over here, and you can do lots of symbol selections and all. For example, I'll just select this triangle and all the points become triangle. If I just go to BT roads, same thing. If I want all the roads to be black, then black. Like I said in our first class, that as far as possible for your map, please make your structures look realistic. For example, do not make rivers red or pink, even if you like these colors, or like brown and all. River should be blue mostly, and road should be black. But if you see that the background color, for example, for this polygon, if it is totally contrasting, then you can do that. If it is very similar, for example, you have black road and your background is again black, then in this case you can have red or white. But as far as possible, if you can keep the color realistic, then you're giving some purpose or meaning to the map. All right, that's it about working with vector file. There are three kinds of data: point, line, and polygon. Now next one is selection of area of interest and extraction of area of interest. Let us say that we are now going to before this one, I could like to make this feature into single. All right, let us say that we would like to have for research in one of the Dzongkhaks, and we would like to take out only that Dzongkhak and make it as our study area. So for this one, how to do that? Selection. There are two ways again. If you want to select Thimphu, then you directly go to Tools toolbar and go to select features like this once, and the cursor turns to a different kind of cursor here. If you can see here, select Thimphu, and after selection, you can go to district again, because you have selected on the district. Please remember this one. You have selected on the district, right click it, go to selection now. You have selected on the district, and it says that with that selection on the district, what would you like to do? The first option is zoom to the selected layer. Would you like to zoom to that Thimphu? Second one is pan to selected layer. Would you like to pan that area? Would you like to clear your selection? And those kind of things. I would like to create layer from selected feature so that I create only Thimphu. So I click this one, and if I uncheck this one, then I have Thimphu, and I will label it. And if you look at the attribute, it has selected only the attributes of Thimphu from all these things. All right, remove it. Let's say I want to select Punakha, Thimphu, and Gasa is my study area. For this one, you have more than one option. You can draw a rectangle, for example, wherever you draw a rectangle like this, but your rectangle should be touching this boundaries at least. Okay, so 3 are being selected. If you want to have more, and if your rectangle is sometimes if you cannot draw a rectangle perfectly so that you touch all the districts, then you have got polygon creation. To do that, you can basically draw wherever you want to do that, and at last when you're done, double click it. So wherever you have drawn the polygon, it's there. To deselect, you have got deselection button here to deselect. You can also do that by going to lasso. Lasso is just by clicking, and you can directly draw. So wherever you have drawn, all the layers that is touching the drawn line will be getting selected. So deselect again. After selection, you know what to do. For example, if you have drawn polygon over here or lasso over here, then you directly go to district selection, create layer from selection, and if I uncheck, then these are your study area. But however, if you want to take study area as Ha and also as Trashigang, how would you like to do that? Because drawing lasso or drawing polygon may not be possible without going through all these things. So there are again different ways. Again, the second way to do the selection. To do the selection, you need to go to attribute table, right click the district, go to open attribute table, and for example, if you want to select Ha, keep your cursor on the left corner side of the field, and just keep it here. Then I'll choose Ha and Trashigang. I can choose more which are spaced. I can choose any. I can also choose just one. So you can see from this we can have different choice feasibilities. For this one, you need to click Control Tukula. Please do not forget to click Control. Without Control, you can just select only one. If I can click Control, I can select Ha. I'm not leaving my finger on Control. I can select Trashigang, Jimgang, like that. So for example, I have just selected 3 districts. Then I can close this one. Do not do anything else. Just select and close, and 3 districts have been selected. After selection, you know what to do. Right click it, go to selection, and create layer from selections. So that's it with this ones. However, this is very easy and shortcut methods to generate your area of interest. However, if you want to make these layers into permanent, because whatever selection that we have done is quite temporary, it's not permanent. You should be knowing that the selection that we just did, for example, we just selected and we just created layers from this selected features. These selected features are not saved in our data. The data we have has no separate layer saved as district selection. So this is a temporary file, useful for immediate mapping, useful for immediate analysis. But if you want to make it permanent, then first the selection is same. Just select any district. For example, I selected Wangdi. Then to make it permanent, you have to make it data. So to make it a data, you need to export the data. Right click it, and with this selection, what you want to do? With this selection, I want to make it data, and I want to export the data. So I want to export only Podong. And where would you like to save? So just browse it, and I would like to save either in my newly created folder. So if it is not there, I can connect to the folder, and I go to, for example, I want to save it in my GIS unit. Then if I want to save it in my scripts or skins, these are part of my video editing tools. Let us not save this one here. Let us save somewhere in PC and pictures. All right, I'll be saving in as here in this folder. So just click it like this once, because you're connecting the folder. So under this AS ArcGIS, I'm saving it as Wangdi underscore Pudrong, and file type that you want to save is shapefile. Please remember, shapefile is for vector file. We're still looking at vector file. Shapefile and .shp shapefile should come automatically. So just save it. And would you like to export? Yes. Okay. Do you want to add the exported data to map as a separate layer? So if I click yes, it will come to table of content. Even if I click no, it's going to be saved in my folder. So click it yes, so it came over here. So that's it with making the data, whether you want to work it as temporary or permanent. Just know the limitations and advantage of making temporary and permanent. If you're looking at making it temporary for practices, for using that file only for this session or some temporary analysis, then going on with selection by right-clicking that layer and by going for selection and creating a selected layer, it's totally fine, because it will not eat away the storage capacity of your Dixler. But however, if you are looking at Wangdi Photon District, for example, for 6 to 7 months as a part of your dissertation work, then in this case, I would like to recommend you to save it as a permanent file so that you do not want to every time open your ArcMap and every time extract your data. So that's it with extraction and working with a vector data model. Thank you.